2023. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories this evening. In our top stories tonight, President Museveni directs Finance Ministry to release $6 billion to KCCA to address Kampala potholes. State Minister Nandutu charged and remanded till 3rd of May 2023. The late Muhakanizi's body to be repatriated on Thursday from Milan, Italy. And first ever female-only physiotherapy workshop underway. Good evening once again. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. We do welcome you to this news bulletin. Now we start off with President Museveni has directed the Ministry of Finance to urgently release 6 billion Uganda shillings as a quarterly contribution to Kampala Capital City Authority. The funds will be used for pothole filling, repairs and maintenance of the roads in the city. Now, this announcement was made during the first quarterly broadcast on trade and investment, an initiative by the Presidential Advisory Committee on Export, Industry and Development.
I directed them to follow the parish model approach and have at least one garbage truck for each of the 99 parishes. I want a garbage skip every 200 meters. A garbage skip every 200 meters. They must regularly make public service announcements for tourists and city dwellers using information booth at all passenger terminals. The 41 Africa Development Bank City Roads project will continue for the next 4 years to improve the city transport. I now direct the Ministry of Finance to urgently release the quarterly contribution to KCCA of Uganda shilling 6 billion for pothole filling, repairs, and maintenance of roads. I have been told that only 30% of this money has been released this financial year, causing roads outside the AFDB project to fall into bad disrepair with attendant problems for traffic jams. I task the Kampala Executive Director and her team to give the country an account of progress in this matter. Our cities, starting with Kampala, should have lost and found locations and accessible places of convenience for tourists.
Waiting for.
Okay.
We know where the potholes are. Our teams are ready in all the 5 divisions. We have enough people to work on potholes, and so as soon as the money is released, it's all systems go.
Now, government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, has confirmed that the body of the fallen Permanent Secretary Keith Muhakanizi will be repatriated on Thursday this week. The Prime Minister, Robin Anabanja, confirmed this while presiding over the commemoration service of the late Muhakanizi, who served as the Permanent Secretary at the Office of the Prime Minister before he was announced dead on Monday in Milan, Italy. We have the details.
The Office of the Prime Minister has held a memorial service to pay tribute to the life of the fallen Permanent Secretary, Keith Muhakanizi.
Time comes when you realize that my life must be near my God. And your God must be the closest person to you. Because right now, Keith is not closest to any of us, but he is closest to God.
The service was attended by the government dignitaries, family, friends, and well-wishers.
Our PS was the time manager. He hated long meetings, and I'm sure by now he should have told us to close.
Keith was so big to other people, but whenever he came to us as a family, he was just like any of us.
The late will be remembered for his transparency and dedicated professionalism that has streamlined the office of the Prime Minister.
For the short period in the office of the Prime Minister, he demonstrated his greatly evolved principles of transparency and accountability of public funds. His zeal and passion for tendering professional advice, though short-lived, is much appreciated.
The public has been urged to emulate his legacy for the continuous transformation of our economy.
You know, once systems are clear, once things are streamlined, once things are transparent, it releases on the issue of discontent in the minds of most especially the junior or the most vulnerable. Let's guard everybody. The spirit of kids should live here, and let's be a family.
His body is expected to jet in on Thursday from Italy, where he passed on last week.
His body will arrive tomorrow. I want to invite you to join us for prayers where the president is expected to attend at Kororo on Friday. We were supposed to have that tomorrow, but because of the challenges we got, we could not do that. So his prayers will be on Friday. So we invite you to come and join us as we pray for our brother. Then on Friday, he will again be taken to Lyantonde. We shall sleep a night there with him, and then Saturday is when we shall put him to rest in his final home.
According to the family doctor, the late succumbed to cancer.
And he lost his blood cells, so he became anemic. His immunity went down. We transfused him. His immunity went up. He could talk a bit. He could recognize some people. But then all these other organs that they were struggling with failed one by one. And at the end, all of them failed and he passed on.
Joseph Oko, UBC.
UBC News Tonight. Now, the Deputy Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, David Luyimbazi, has asked the public to stop blaming KCCA, but instead blame those with the responsibility of making budget appropriations. Luyimbazi's concern follows delayed budget appropriations for the authority, which he says has continuously suppressed the performance, hence attracting criticism. Susan Nawanga with more.
Who's to argue for more money? This should be a no-brainer, but we still take time, we get criticized, we didn't create these potholes.
For close to a year now, no maintenance works have been done on most of the roads around the city, a situation which has led to widening of potholes, trenches, broken pavements and open manholes on most of the roads around the city. Due to the financial constraints at KCCA, the authority remains stuck with the patching of the potholes that are growing wide every day, putting lives of road users at risk.
As you ask for more money and these loans that you are getting, please construct roads for us who want to walk, to keep fit.
The wear out of roads around the city within a short period of time is attributed to heavy traffic jam, which has led to an increase in road crashes, mainly involving motorists, also costing government lots of money in treating road crash victims.
How terrible this issue of road safety is to the economy. So you can't keep raising money and then you are sinking it in the ground.
The value in terms of, if we put it in monetary terms, 4.4 trillion is what we lose every year.
According to Kampala Capital City Authority, most roads in the city are extremely old and need a general overhaul as opposed to periodic maintenance.
We don't have ways for places for borders to ride on. Can we plan better and ensure that we have walkways for our children to walk to school, for the pedestrians to walk to work?
These roads are over 40 years old. A road is supposed to last only 20 years or thereabout. We are not magicians.
In October 2022, Kampala Capital City Authority launched a road safety plan with an estimated budget requirement of 600 billion earmarked for maintenance of roads in the next 5 years. According to the Deputy Director, KCCA, the authority has since not received any funding in that regard.
0 shillings has been allocated, or a minuscule amount, and we're here dining in Serena, hoping to turn around the road safety situation. I think we need to be practical.
Luyimbazi appealed to critics to blame those charged with the responsibility of making budget appropriations for frustrating KCCA efforts. He further noted that the authority has no option but to watch over the situation until they receive the required funds. At the moment, all contractors that had been offered contracts to work on some roads in Kampala have laid down their tools after KCCA failed to clear the areas.
Was it last week or this week? I was in Parliament arguing for budgets for the city. A city where all decision makers are sitting. They all hit at least 20 potholes a day.
The Minister for Works and Transport, Katumba Wamala, says their bid to help redesign roads and realign the transport sector to decrease congestion and emission has also been suppressed.
You gave us some hope when you said no free border zones, limits for borders. We need that one because it's happening in all other cities. What is so special with Kampala?
Uganda is yet to achieve its goals according to the Global Plan of 2021-2030 on reducing road carnage through, among others, ensuring safe transport and road systems, especially around the city. Susan Naonga reporting for ABC TV.
Thank you, Susan. Now, the ICT Ministry Minister, Chris Baryomunsi, has said that the ongoing investigations over the theft and diversion of iron sheets has not affected cabinet proceedings. He says that the president has chaired cabinet meetings, but this issue has not been discussed. As Ivan Kahwa reports, Baryomunsi argues that the OPM departments and units need to be reviewed to enable effective supervision.
There are at least 23 cabinet ministers and ministers of state who are involved in the diversion and alleged theft of iron sheets meant for the people of Karamoja. The aforementioned in the scandal remain part and parcel of cabinet meetings held weekly. Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, says the scandal has not been discussed in cabinet and it has not affected the proceedings.
And you see the so-called panic in the cabinet, it is you creating it in the media, but there is no panic at all. Cabinet is sitting as normally as it ever sits. The ministers being investigated are still part of cabinet. They attend, and there is nothing strange in my view.
The president, in a letter dated 3rd April 2023, advised that those involved in the mismanagement of the iron sheets should return them or an equivalent value in money.
There are those, in my view, who innocently received the items and used them for the public good. But if you use them for private use, I think there would be questions hanging around that.
The minister acknowledges that the office of the Prime Minister houses many departments and units that need to be reviewed for effective monitoring.
Because like it has Ministry for Relief and Disaster Preparedness, which is a fully-fledged ministry, but under office of Prime Minister, has a whole Ministry for General Duties. Then you have these affirmative programs, the Ministry for Karamoja, which is a fully-fledged ministry. Then the Royal Triangle. You have Teso Affairs, Bunyoro Affairs, Northern Uganda. So I think it is huge. Maybe government needs to look at how you could restructure the whole office of Prime Minister and probably separate implementation from coordination and monitoring.
Meanwhile, Ugandans took to social media space a campaign against the bad state of roads in Kampala. The minister says that highlighting problems using technology is okay if used responsibly.
But then how they use that information is where I would have a challenge. They should use that information to inform their leaders and for the leaders to act on that issue. For instance, in Kampala, if there are potholes, if there is garbage somewhere not being collected, or any other thing which is disturbing you and you take a picture, why wouldn't you take it to the MP? So we want you to raise it in Parliament. We are now budgeting. Why don't you put more money for Kampala?
On the other hand, government of Uganda is in touch with authorities and the embassy in Sudan after reported ceasefire, and should the situation require evacuation of Ugandans, it will be done. Ivan Kahwa and Rogers Komagum, UBC News.
Government has unveiled a 5-year digital transformation roadmap towards implementing Uganda's digital agenda. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, noted that the move will spur Uganda's digital connection and provide employment for the youths. We have more in this report.
The Ministry of ICT and other development partners are moving towards the implementation of Uganda's digital transformation roadmap. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Amina Zawede, has announced 5 government digital implementation strategies geared towards the implementation of Uganda's digital agenda.
Digital transformation, or ICT, rides on about 5 pillars. We have the infrastructure, where you see the network connectivity, telephone, access to data and all that. Then we have the digital services, all the services you have online. Today we see Jumia, we see Safe Border and etc. All these Uber you can get online. And then we also have to ensure that people are aware of the security that they're supposed to have with these services online.
The strategy includes digitizing government programs, connecting local government entities, expanding Uganda's broadband infrastructures, and establishing one-stop service centers in different regions in the country.
We are focusing on ensuring that we have connectivity up to the sub-counties. And when we go to the sub-counties, we are connecting some district offices and administration offices. But now this phase is going to expand connectivity further to the sub-counties that did not have them. We have the parish development model where we aim to even have parishes connected. That is a journey we'll move in the long run. But now we also want to have more hospitals, schools, government offices and institutions all fully connected.
Government has already signed a memorandum of understanding with other development partners towards the realization of the program in areas of digital information and Internet of Things.
We believe that coordination between the development partners is extremely important to have an effective implementation of this roadmap. Very often, development partners don't talk to each other, surprisingly. They don't exchange notes, they don't exchange what they're planning to do, and they end up contributing towards the same things. Duplication is a problem.
This is one of our initiatives to push towards digital revolution in Uganda, but not only that, to also achieve our sustainable development goals as a development partner to the Uganda government here.
Prioritizing digital transformation will be an enabling tool towards creating employment opportunities for the youth.
In this engagement, our target is, as we plan, is to create employment opportunities for over 3,000 people, or for over 300,000 youths. We have started on this journey.
We believe that digital transformation can have a huge impact on economic growth in Uganda, and especially also in creating opportunities for the young population.
Sadam Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
The National Social Security Fund has extended the mass voluntary registration drive by 60 more days. Dubbed Now You Can, the registration exercise targets all employers in Uganda, irrespective of the number of employees, the number of workers employed. Now, this was meant to end on the 28th of April.
The National Social Security Fund has extended the employer's voluntary registration exercise by 2 more months. The communication comes with less than 10 days to the end of the 1-month grace period.
However, over the last 3 weeks, we've been employed by a number of employers, and they've come and told us, please extend the period. And the spirit of cooperating with all the employers and making sure that they all can register, Honourable Minister, we are glad to announce that we are extending the deadline by 60 days, which means now the due date for all registrations is now June 28th, 2023.
As part of the initiative, the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, accompanied by NSSF top management, toured the fine spinners facility in Bugorobi and interacted with the employers and their employees.
We need the NSSF to work harder than before, because if you have 13.9 million working, and at the moment we have about 2 million, so you can see you need to move from the 2 million to a certain number. Even if you don't reach the 13.9 million, they have a big task progressively to reach every worker that they are mandated to.
Since the launch of the mass registration exercise 3 weeks ago, over 1,468 employers have so far registered. With the coming into force of new amendments, it is imperative to drive compliance, says the MD NSSF. The fund's target is to increase savers coverage from the current 2 million to 15 million by 2025.
We have therefore established partnerships with most government agencies to ensure that employers must regularize their status with NSSF before they do business. In addition, we are establishing partnerships with all regulatory agencies to ensure that before an entity is given a license, they have a clearance certificate from NSSF that proves their registration and compliance with the NSF Act.
And NSSF is supporting us by helping us in employee welfare, and we will continue to support NSSF in their initiative. Now You Can is a wonderful initiative, and I believe it will go all the way in empowering the women and extending the welfare of the employees.
Currently, NSSF is on a mission to drive mass registration of both employers and employees, considering that the new law is targeting 75% of the employment categories that were not originally captured under the old law. Dennis Sikor for UBC News.
Now you are still watching UBC News Tonight, but allow us to take a very short break. We'll return with more stories.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, under the auspices of the East African Community, will host the 10th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023 from the 9th to the 11th of May 2023 at the Kampala Serena Hotel in Uganda. Take full advantage of the investment opportunities in the East African region's vibrant oil and gas sector. To find out more on how to sponsor, exhibit, or attend the 10th EAPCE 23, visit www.eapce23.eac.int.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256GB storage, G88 gaming processor, and a strong battery to last the whole day. Tawakana.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3GB from Airtel and 100% bonus on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100*5# to enjoy free data. The new Spark 10 is available in all selected Techno shops countrywide. Airtel, the smartphone network in partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's the encounters with our majestic gorillas. The thrill of taking on the falls of the Nile River. The joy of discovering new traditions and a lot more. Join us at the 2023 Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo from the 26th to the 29th of April at the Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Rediscover our country's uniqueness and see what the tourism sector has in store for you. Visit www.poate.co.ug to secure your spot and get set to learn, network and explore. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board in partnership with Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Projects. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Welcome back from the break, and we're glad that you're still with us. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. Now, in more news this evening, the Chief of Uganda People's Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbadi, together with the Senior Presidential Advisor on Security, General Salim Saleh, have commended the exemplary dedication to national service exhibited by the late Colonel Abdallah Nasur, who served as Governor, Central Police during Amin's regime. Now, General Mbadi was represented by Brigadier General Hassan Chimboa from Bombo UPDF headquarters, while General Salim Saleh was represented by Major Herbert Ndiwalana during the burial of the 76-year-old Colonel Nasur at Bombo.
Sick, we UPDF referred him to Victoria Hospital and we treated him. The Uganda People's Defense Forces fraternity extends its sympathy and condolences to departed comrades, family, relatives, and friends. Late Colonel, retired Abdallah Nasur, joined the army in 1964. The senior officer had most of his career life in command and administration of the country. He was courageous and a true hero. He rose through ranks to the rank of colonel, the rank at which he has passed on. So rest in eternal peace. Signed by W.M. Mbadi, RS, NIM, FW, USPSC, K, MSS, MP, General Chief of Defense Forces.
I'm sad to hear about the loss of our great leader. I'm sending my deep and heartfelt sympathy to the widow and my daughter, Honorable Zena, and the other children and the entire family. The Bombo Nubian community and our country, Uganda. My heart goes out to you on the passing of our senior citizen, Uganda, Mukuru Wange, Colonel Nasur Abdallah, Chitaro Nyo, Chitaro Dala. My sincere apologies for not being with you during this trying time, because I'm away on other state duties. Have sent Major Ndiwana Herbert Mukungwa Sawasajja to represent me. Please find enclosed amabugo $1,500,000.
May his soul rest in peace. Local council chairpersons in Hoima City have been warned against charging 10% on land sales, which has led to an increase in land cases and wrangles. The NRM mobilizer in Bunyoro region, Michael Christopher Ayeranga, said this while meeting over 140 LC1 chairpersons from the city in Kijungu cell under their umbrella association, Hoima City LC1 Chairpersons Development Foundation.
The discovery of oil and gas in Bunyoro region has escalated land grabbing both in the district and in the city. Many of the land tribunals at local level in Hoima City are overwhelmed with land cases associated with land grabbing in Chesiga Ward, Chentale Ward, Chiduma Ward and Chihucha Ward. Speaking to the local council leaders under their umbrella organization, Hoima City LC1 Chairpersons Development Foundation, NRM mobilizer in Bunyoro region, Michael Christopher Ayeranga, appealed to them to focus on agricultural production as opposed to land sale, which is a corruption.
Very crucial people, very important people. They solve most of the problems down. We have come to realize, we had to sensitize them, we have come to realize that there is also a problem of land grabbing. And the rich men most times use the chairman LC1. So we have to sensitize them, to tell them that they must be there to fight for the weak people, to fight for the people down that voted for them to these offices.
LC1 chairpersons are allegedly conniving with tycoons to grab people's land. According to Muhammad Chiimba, the chairperson of the Hoima City LC1 Chairpersons Development Foundation, tycoons use lawyers and leave out LC1 chairpersons.
In most cases, we LCs have been left behind. You find that a chairman LC1 gets 10,000 in a month. Can you imagine? When an MP is getting 35 million. And who is on ground? It's we who are on ground. So we are saying the government should come in and help us and address our problems.
Monica Kabatoro, the Kasingo Cell LC1 chairperson, says they have been having cases of land grabbing in the city despite interventions from the office of the RCC to have some of them resolved.
Going to get like 2 tractors which will be working in 2 divisions, and the challenges, of course, at local level, we need some more trainings in leadership. Because yes, I agree, we are all chairpersons, but there are areas where we feel that we are not comfortable, where we need some more guidance.
Now in northern Uganda, the private sector foundation Uganda has partnered with the Northern Region Catholic Diocese to address the issue of youth unemployment by encouraging them to take up agriculture as a means of fighting poverty. Makwadulo reports.
Northern Uganda is home to a large number of unemployed youth, with approximately 175,000 people under the age of 35 in Moya district alone. Some are unemployed due to the lack of opportunities, while others are restricted by cultural practices that limit the participation of married women in commercial work. In response to this challenge, the PSFU's Lead Farm Structure program partnered with Delight Uganda Limited and the Northern Region Catholic Diocese to encourage young people to embrace agriculture as a couple.
We were able to go down and identify and register them through the different church structures. And they were trained on different agricultural farming methods.
This partnership has created over 6,000 jobs for young women and men in Nwoya district, with 900 couples being mobilized through the Northern Region Diocese.
Me and my wife here, we have selected the sorghum because we know how the sorghum, it is easy to plant it. So we planted it, we got the seed and we planted it. We planted 1.5 hectares. After planting, we weeded it. After weeding, then we harvested it. And we got like around 10 sacks, which is around in kilos, it was 1,028 kilos. The company came and bought it at the price of 900, of which we got like around 1,015,000 shillings.
This initiative has also played a role in educating men about the importance of allowing their wives to work and contribute to the well-being of their families and the community at large.
So we're operating in an ecosystem of making sure that the couples, the young women, actually work together to improve their household income, to improve their well-being of their children, deal with issues of access to school fees, medication as a result of earning.
In recognition of the exemplary couples, some of them were recently awarded with bicycles and 2 goats per family to further diversify their incomes. This partnership is a significant step towards addressing the issue of unemployment and gender inclusion in northern Uganda. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News, in Nwoya District.
The reigning Miss Uganda has been granted a full scholarship to enroll for her studies together with other 4 runners-up at 50% worth 30 million shillings to study at Issabat University. While awarding the scholarships, the Vice-Chancellor, Issabat University, Dr. M.K. Matthew, raised concerns of high school dropouts to the girl child, which affects their future.
In Uganda still remains a challenge, with 30% of the girls failing to make it to secondary school due to high illiteracy levels among parents that subject the girl child to early childhood marriages. In the attempt to address the problem, Issabat University has granted scholarships to the 5 Miss Uganda winners of 2023.
Board of Directors has approved full tuition fee scholarship to Miss Uganda 2023. That is Miss Hannah Karumana for any program for full semesters. Earlier we are offered 50% tuition fees to all the first 5 winners for any program.
Hannah Karema Tumukunde, reigning Miss Uganda 2023, was among the beneficiaries of the scholarships. She pledged to utilize it to the fullest.
Of course, I'm going to take it on, and I'm going to do my best to come out with the best results, because this is something free, so I have to come out with something that satisfies them.
Education is very important, and especially when it comes to the girl child. So a collaboration and a partnership with Issabat University is very important, very useful.
The Managing Director, Airtel Uganda, Mr. Manoj Murali, pledged continuous collaboration with the university, stressing the relevancy of technology and innovation.
You cannot learn everything by yourself, not the faculty can teach you everything. You have to be just curious. So somebody came and told me a month back, there is some new program called ChatGPT. So rather than spending time to understand, I have a lot of youngsters like you working in my office.
Beneficiaries of this offer were Hannah Karema Tumukunde, Ademon Whitney, Martha Prima Proskovia Agwank, Jerusalem Wanguzi, and Jessica Serada. Irene Faith Nantongo, Mary Namkosi, UBC News.
UBC News tonight. Now, the Buganda Road Magistrates Court in Kampala has charged and remanded one Hamza Faruk, a street beggar, with offences of unlawful possession of a firearm and military uniform. Hamza Faruk, who was on the street begging, was recently arrested for allegedly being found in possession of these items illegally, but denied the charges. Meanwhile, the General Court Martial in Makindye has finally charged another offence of treachery to 32 NUP supporters.
Hamza Faruk, alias Mayambala Mugabitoni, has appeared at the Buganda Road Magistrates Court in Kampala to hear charges of unlawful possession of a firearm and unlawful possession of military uniforms, the offences that led to his arrest recently.
Na uniform za bitongole bikuuma by'eddembe ekimenya amateeka kigambibwa gwe Hamza Faruk Kintu ng'olumu bakuyita Mayambala Mugabitone Anthony mu mwezi ogwokuna omwaka 2023 ku Bina Upper Zone Nakawa Division mu Kampala District wasangibwa ne uniform ez'ekitongole ekya Uganda.
Prosecution led by Lydia Nakato told court that investigations into the case are complete and asked court to grant them another date to produce witnesses in the case. Hamza Faruk, who didn't have a lawyer, was asked if he had any sureties. However, he had none available for him to be out of court. Magistrate Sena Wamugisha sent Hamza Faruk to Rizla government prison until 8th May 2023 for mention of the case. Prosecution alleges that in the month of March this year, at Kalunji Plaza Johnson Street in Kampala, the accused Hamza Faruk was legally found in possession of a firearm as well as UPDF uniforms. Meanwhile, the General Court Martial in Machindi has charged the 32 Nationality Platform supporters with another offense of treachery. However, the accused declined to take plea on the charges read against them, which later forced the court to retire for some time. The accused's lawyers also objected to the charges, citing that they are illegal. Prosecution alleges that in the month of April and May 2021, in Mbale, Kampala, Jinja and Natete, the 32 Nationality Platform supporters participated in acts of disruption of national security through their labor group Balibali. Although court was scheduled to continue with the hearing of the case, this was impossible due to prosecution's unwillingness to bring more witnesses. Chairman Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe adjourned the matter to the 22nd of May 2023 for mention of the case. Apart from the charge of treachery leveled against the accused persons today, they are also faced with the offense of unlawful possession of firearms, although they all pleaded not guilty. Deborah Namamonde and Susan Nabugude compiled the story for UBC News.
The Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has called on the youth to take up the mantle of development and defense of their country, as they are the hope for a bright future. He said this during the Thanksgiving ceremony in Gatuna, Katuna, marking the one-year anniversary of the reopening of the border between Uganda and Rwanda. Robert Onyango with the details.
The reopening of Gatuna border in 2022 brought a renewed sense of hope and relief for locals from Uganda and Rwanda. General Muhoozi's efforts to mediate the long-standing dispute between the two countries played a crucial role in the successful reopening of the border, which was closed for close to 3 years. The celebrations for this Thanksgiving were laden with activities. They brought together communities from Rwanda and Uganda in a celebration of renewed hope and relief. Upon his arrival at Gatuna, General Muhoozi was received by a delegation of dignitaries from both sisterly countries. He planted trees and commissioned the construction of the Kagame Museveni one-stop border point market at this station. At Shigezi Lower School grounds, where the main celebrations were held, delegations from Rwanda and Uganda were in attendance.
We thank you, General, for the tremendous love you have for Ugandans, and particularly the people of Kigezi and Ankole. We pray that the Almighty Allah continues to protect you.
Later on, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba addressed the gathering and acknowledged the need for a borderless Africa.
Pan-Africanists like us cannot be happy when borders are closed. We want our people to move freely, to trade freely throughout Africa. We continue to strive for a borderless Africa. Since the border opened early last year, trade between Rwanda and Uganda is recovering.
He also saluted the youth but rallied them to lead from the front.
The youth are the most dynamic segment of the population. The country and the future belongs to you, the youth. We request you, the youth, to be more active in your communities.
The ceremony was not only a celebration of the resilience and determination of these communities, but also a reminder of the power of diplomacy and cooperation in resolving disputes and promoting peace. In attendance were the Rwandan-based musicians and those from Uganda who entertained the congregation. The Thanksgiving ceremony today is a testament to the resilience and determination of these communities and a reminder of the power of the diplomacy and cooperation in resolving disputes and promoting peace. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kabale.
Thank you, Robert Onyango. Now, Parliament is to consider a decision by President Yoweri Museveni to avail more funds to Uganda Broadcasting Corporation to enhance its operations as the national broadcaster. As the budgeting process advances, Parliament seeks to create an independent vote code in the budget for financial year 2023-2024 to expedite financial support to the national broadcaster. In the report, the ministerial policy statement presented by Hasim Moses Magogo, the Vice Chairperson of the Parliament Committee on ICT and National Guidance, UBC will be facilitated with 30 billion annually to boost its mandate.
21. President Yoweri Museveni has been agitating for enhancing financial releases to the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation to the tunes of 30 billion annually to support its expansion of services across the country.
UBC intends to expand the digital terrestrial television and radio broadcasting network, digitize, archive, and commercialize local content and data by acquiring equipment for additional DTT and upgrade existing TV and radio sites to ensure redundancy.
The Parliament Committee on Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance has taken interest in its report on the Ministerial Policy Statement for financial year 2023-2024, recommending for the implementation of the Presidential Directive.
And there's also been another follow-up letter recently on 6th March to the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Hasim Moses Magogo, the Vice Chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on ICT and National Guidance, also notes in the report the need to avail 9 billion shillings to UBC to help avoid Ugandans from being exploited by private television carriers providing free-to-air services.
The colleagues directed to home means that users of this service will be able to receive free-to-air television signals across the entire continent.
The ICT Committee seeks for an independent vote code of UBC in the budget allocation to expedite financial releases and improve independent accountability and efficient utilization of resources, among others. Parliament notes the overtime debts accrued by UBC amounting to 87 billion, recommending that some debts are written off.
UBC is a national broadcaster fully owned by government of the Republic of Uganda with a mandate to inform, educate and entertain the population on matters of national importance, but it's operating as a subvention under the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. Efforts to have UBC allocated a vote track back to 16th June 2020 to a letter from the Minister of ICT and National Guidance to PSST on the need to provide UBC with a vote code.
Meanwhile, the Parliament Committee on Presidential Affairs has taken note on the aging fleet of the Principal of State House, recommending that additional 35.42 billion is availed in the next financial year 2023-2024 to retool State House and also acquire new fleet for the President. The committee urges that the move will improve the role of mobilizing masses and leaders for socio-economic transformation and prosperity in all the regions of the country.
Under Office of the President, under recurrent budget, we are asking for 228.1 billion. Development expenditure, we are asking for 22 billion. State House, under recurrent budget, we are asking for 401 billion. Development expenditure, we are asking for 21.7 billion.
The budget under the State House and Office of the President has always faced resistance among the opposition members of Parliament who question the presidential donations, among others.
And the number of presidential advisors that we have, and when and at what point they are needed to render advice to the President. With the Cabinet being the principal body mandated to give advice to the president, I think this should be reconsidered. And I invite the House to reject this proposal to allocate 5.1 billion.
Right, Honourable Speaker, this donation should also be clear, because what is bad for the ministers and members of parliament is bad for the president. You can't say, and when we say the president does it in the media, you find an Ofono saying it is you who gives it to him.
The budget language currently dominates space at the August House as the deadline draws near. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Right, Honourable Speaker.
UBC News tonight. Now the Anti-Corruption Court in Kololo has charged and committed the State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Agnes Nandutu, to High Court for trial on one count of dealing with suspect property. This followed prosecution to inform court that the inquiries and investigations in the matter are complete. Nandutu, however, pleaded not guilty to the alleged offence, was remanded to Luzira Prison until 3rd May 2023. We have the details.
State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Agnes Nandutu has appeared at the Anti-Corruption Court in Kololo before Magistrate Esther Simwe to answer charges that compelled her surrender herself to police at CID in Chibuli on Tuesday this week.
Please, Your Worship. I'm David.
Nandutu was charged with one count of dealing with suspect property. However, pleaded not guilty to the alleged offence.
Between the month of June and July of 2022, at the office of the Prime Minister's stores in Namambe and in Kola Sale, dealt with government property, being 2,000 repainted iron sheets of Gauge 28 marked office of the Prime Minister.
It said that State Minister Nandutu dealt with government property, to which 2,000 iron sheets. Prosecution led by David Bisamunyu informed court that investigations in the matter are complete and asked court to commit the accused person to the High Court.
Worship, inquiries in this matter are complete. I have instructions from the DPP to have the accused person committed to the High Court for trial.
Bisamunyu tendered into court the summary of the evidence to be used against Nandutu regarding how she obtained the said iron sheets.
That in June 2022, the Minister for Karamoja, Honorable Kitutu, called the accused on phone and informed her that she had given her 2,000 iron sheets purportedly to help the victims of landslides whose houses had been swept away.
The same evidence has been read by Magistrate Simwe and she committed the accused. However, the accused through her lawyer Charles Wamukota intended to apply for bail, but prosecution objected.
It was deliberate by the state to fail the applicant accused seek bail before yet you had this jurisdiction to grant, to entertain bail and grant the bail.
Magistrate Esther Simwe adjourned the matter to 3rd May 2023 for mention.
Like I have said before, I have been baptized by fire, but I am firm. And the question that I'm asking is, why should Agnes Nandutu be committed to the High Court when the lower court has the mandate to deal with this?
Agnes Nandutu was remanded at Ruzila Government Prison. State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Agnes Nandutu becomes the 3rd minister to be arraigned in this court over the mismanagement of iron sheets that were meant for Karamoja region. Rebecca Nantongo, UBC News.
Now, the Ministry of Local Government has echoed the need of empowering the District Engagement Forum to the grassroots for a purposeful engagement. The State Minister, Local Government, Victoria Businje, made the revelation during a comprehensive refugee response framework steering meeting with members of the Global Refugee Forum in Kampala.
State Minister for Local Government Victoria Rusoke says plans are underway of skilling refugees together with the host communities to earn a shilling for survival.
But as we talk that and emphasize that there should be peaceful coexistence and non-destruction of nature, we can't forget to emphasize that as the district leadership shares roles into the refugees agenda, they should they shouldn't forget our main focus, especially at the moment, of the parish development model.
Addressing members during a comprehensive refugee response framework steering meeting, Victoria Rusoke emphasized engagement of the District Engagement Forum on the grassroots.
We are now, as the Ministry of Local Government, engaging our districts to be very, very serious as they manage our communities. They also manage the sensitization of the refugees so that they don't work outside our mandate and control. So our district leaderships, for example, of Kamwenge, Kitagwenda, Ntoroko, Chegegwa, Kisoro has been brought on board, and Bundubujo, because they are all transit districts where the refugees are transiting into our country from.
Rusoke echoed the need of refugees working within the mandate of the country.
The first 3 meetings have taken place since we introduced and approved the district forums. Now we want to rotate them to go physically and see what is happening in Arua, physically what is happening in Kisoro, what is happening in Chegegwa, so that even the donor gets convinced about the magnitude of needs, magnitude of resources required.
State Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyakun, said the Global Refugee Forum has enabled them reassess what Uganda needs.
Let us use this forum as a full tool for resource mobilization and an opportunity to show how far we have come, but also to reassess what we need in order to go even further.
The Ministry of Local Government has been tasked to lead on the localization thematic area. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
This is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#. Select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me. And as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Bang Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. First school fees I teach you. When I'm going to the school, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You stay put on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry car.
Okakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. Housing Finance Bank signs off a partnership with the Ugandan and North American Association to extend affordable financial solutions to Ugandans living in diaspora. As part of this partnership, Housing Finance Bank will establish a scheme where it will offer its loan facilities, relevant bank products and services like incremental housing, agent banking services to the eligible Ugandans under the association.
Bank has signed a partnership with the Ugandan North American Association as part of their commitment to provide an affordable home ownership and financial independence for all Ugandans. The Managing Director, Housing Finance Bank, Michael Mugabe, says partnership with credible and like-minded organizations will play a very important role in ensuring that even Ugandans living in the diaspora have access to affordable financing.
Housing Finance Bank is that bank that will ensure live to provide the solutions and products, tailor-made, by the way, tailor-made solutions and products to you Ugandans living out there. And that's why this partnership is being said. But beyond even the solutions that we offer, we're talking about trust, we're talking about lifestyle. We are that collaborative to provide the solutions for you Ugandans living abroad to be able to live your dreams, to achieve your dreams, so that the hard-earned money out there, the hard-earned dollars are not put to waste, are not mismanaged, are not derailed by, say, fraudulent people out there, and we have them in society variably, unfortunately.
Housing Finance Bank, through its strategic pillar of growing a sustainable business by facilitating property purchase, construction, completion and renovation financing, has joined hands with the Ugandan North American Association.
We have been given a couple of services by Housing Finance Bank. One of the services that has been given to us that we didn't know is the advisory service. If I want to come and get a loan from Housing Finance Bank and I want to build a house, Housing Finance Bank has people they work with that can help me to even maybe accrue the loan, of course, here at the bank, that will help me look at the land that I'm trying to buy, make sure that the land is legit, make sure the land is registered, because these are the things that we find as problems while we live in the diaspora. You'll find that so many people are buying land that is either not registered, that you may find someone buying land 3 times because there was no due diligence in terms of making sure that it is legit. So Housing Finance is giving us such a product which we didn't know.
The housing deficit stands at 2.4 million housing units, and Housing Finance Bank, a 100% government-owned commercial bank, is championing the Sustainable Development Goal 11 agenda to ensure that by 2030, all Ugandans have access to adequate, safe and affordable housing, as well as basic services. Sandra Kahunde, Robert Katemba, UBC News.
And now into sports. A historic sports made in Uganda manual sports physiotherapy workshop emphasizing hands-on has started at Mestil Hotel in Kampala. John Buns with more.
Uganda's sports personalities, like others elsewhere, are prone to injury but face a dire lack of medical experts, especially females, to treat ladies. It's against that background that National Council of Sports decided to embark on capacity building in several areas, notably medical. Council has indeed walked its talk with the first ever women's sports physiotherapy workshop hosted at Mestil Hotel in Kampala.
We have done evaluation on the technical capacity of federations in supporting the physiotherapists job that comes with performance, enhancing performance of athletes, and we noted a very big gap. We went there for strategic to ensure that the first group to benefit from this program should be the female. Chair, it was strategic that we know how vulnerable our female athletes are.
The 5-day workshop will be tutored by globally celebrated German national Lutz Meissner on the theme all around the athlete, test therapy training.
Equipment are very important.
and experience are very important, and the knowledge is very important, and the study. But if you don't have the hand, you will not be successful.
The promise from National Council of Sports to the 40 participants is endorsement to federations for gainful employment.
You potentially all have jobs by being here, getting this skill, if you get that on your hands, because the demand is simply too much.
Use the skills you're going to learn from Gold Figure and start to utilize them. There are clubs out there that need help in boxing. They are there in so many countries, avail yourself.
Participants are from across the divide, including active physiotherapists and students. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
Uganda Revenue Authority has thumped KCCA Football Club 2-0 to regain bragging rights in the Uganda Premier League game at Meta Stadium in Lugazi. The tax collectors moved to 4th position while KCCA Football Club failed to narrow down the gap against rivals Sports Club Villa. Now in the other game on the day, Vipers Sports Club defeated UPDF FC at Bombo Military Grounds. Now here are the highlights of the KCCURA game.
Looking for Brian Ahebwa, deception made by Eric Senjove, and now Semuju, ball down to Eric Senjove with all kinds of space. Senjove! Blockbuster! Eric Senjove, of all people, the defender for the Royal Football Club side. Next one for the tax collectors. Look what how Olwo is celebrating. I'm telling you, of all people, Senjove nailed that ball into that back of the net.
All right, and that's all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for your company. Now, on behalf of the team working tirelessly behind the scenes, and myself, Lauryn Masika Kazimoto, and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni, we wish you a blessed night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.